I thought that was pretty interesting. And for those who are unaware or just want to recap, essentially Nardo Wick was on a different platform prior to Academics, and the two hosts were speaking to him who were much older than him, maybe in their 40s, even potentially 50s. I don't know, but they're definitely at least twice his age. We're talking to him about his history, and he basically said that he robbed people instead of getting a job because it didn't, I guess, make sense financially. You know, he could rob someone for a couple grand here instead of making, $500.
Yeah, working 9 to 5 at Starbucks and shit. Yeah.
And I don't think he was necessarily glorifying it or saying it was cool, but the host kind of shrugged it off and laughed, like as if, oh, like that's, cute, and didn't really take the time. Like nobody in that room took the time to be like,
it came off like they weren't encouraging it, but they were like, oh, that's cool. It's like, is it cool though? Like
right. And I don't necessarily blame Nardo because I'm sure he's relatively new. He's not media trained, clearly.
He's 20 fucking years old.
Yeah, he's 20. So and I didn't get the sense that he was necessarily saying it was cool, but at the end of the day, I think people need to, in general, realize while you may not be verbally saying, hey, kids, do this shit, kids are watching and they do think whatever you say or used to do is cool. And unfortunately, in the music, we don't hear enough of the dark side of like that lifestyle, or even if there is a dark side, they say it in a melodic way and visualize it or illustrate in a way that makes it look cool. And I thought it was interesting that he got a lot of backlash just because, I like his music, but then when he says shit like this, we get upset, but we hear this stuff in the music. And
right. The music's worse because the music, he's killing people. At least this, he's just robbing people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So which one is worse? That's the fucking conundrum. Like when you like saying that or me watching the interview, that was my conundrum. I'm like, but then why are we okay with him like having an entire song about like just blasting people away? But the idea of a broke kid who can't afford anything, and his mom just came back from prison, he was saying, so like she didn't have anything to offer him either. Like, fuck it, dude. I get it if you want to rob people. Like, I would hate if you robbed one of my family members or friends, but fuck, dude, I kind of get it, right? We fucking glorify Robin Hood to a certain extent. So I get it, dude. But yeah, so how bad was the backlash?
It was pretty bad. It was like, I think it was on Twitter. I'm not on Twitter, but it was on Twitter. It was on YouTube as well. People were just basically saying, not only is he wrong for, suggesting that getting a job is pointless when you can just rob people, but I think people were upset at those two hosts for kind of just, chuckling and playing along with it and not really, using that moment to teach a lesson to the audience.
Got it. So yeah, but I don't think anyone's trying to cancel him though, right? It's more so like,
even if they did, like, I think it was more so like, hey man, like you need to watch like how you portray yourself in these interviews, or like incriminate yourself even. Like potentially he's still doing that shit. I don't know, but he said he's not. He said that's a thing of the past, and it was simply him saying, this is my history.
Yeah. I do appreciate him like not like doubling down. You know what I mean? Like the fuck. I do appreciate on Academics platform that he was just, he took the time to explain exactly where, what, and why it happened. So I feel like most artists don't do that, or at least most rappers don't, especially like young rappers who can be like, yo, who gives a fuck? Like it is what it is. Like I feel like sometimes they're all like clout chasing to a certain extent, so like they rather like just deal with the consequences. So I think it was cool that he took the time. Seemed genuine in his response. Like, hey, I'm not trying to, portray this or encourage anyone to do this. It just happens to be a product of the environment I grew up in. So I feel like you can't get mad, bro. Like, it's wild. And we're going to go into the Rogan thing in a second. It's wild at this shit that people get mad at sometimes. Because, like, if you can get mad at this, but then you also, like, if you listen to this, like the initial interview, that's because you're also a fan of his. So if you're a fan of his and you're okay with all that shit, it's super weird that this offends you, because damn, like you there's no consistency there whatsoever.
Right. And that's where I'm conflicted, because I love Who Wants Smoke, that like his biggest song, and that song is like sounds like one of the most demonic like
bro. But even the video is not
ever.
even like there's nothing left to the imagination. This is about killing people. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, just like straight up crazy lyrics that just are full of anger and like vengeance. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't one of these people all over Twitter and Instagram complaining about, you know, his views on like him having to rob people instead of have a job. I know we talked about it and I shared it with you.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's frustrating that we never hear like these radio personalities and stuff when they have these dudes on, like with the exception of maybe like Charlemagne and those guys. I feel like they're like
no
too
one digs
afraid
deep
to like challenge these guys. It's like, hey, so your new song, I Want to Fucking Kill Your Mom, came out yesterday. Like it's hitting the charts really well. And it's like, yo, are you gonna fucking just act like this nigga didn't talk about all kinds of evil shit like in the song? And I don't know. I just find that shit weird because it's like the most corporate people talking about like the darkest stuff and not really digging deep into like, I don't know, the underlying message or whatever.
Yeah, for sure. Totally, dude. I completely agree with that. But then isn't that like the conundrum, bro, where it's like, and probably what can also be frustrating for us as listeners or just like, I mean, hip hop savants, like to a certain extent, like think about like what we're mad about that's like popular, like his hit song was, you know, again, the most violent shit, but it's a banger. And then we were just talking about Corday last week, album fucking flops. He's not killing one person on lyrics on a song, talking about like inspirational shit. And we're like, nah, that ain't it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just so fucking crazy.
I know. And I was actually thinking about this, and because I saw a couple of videos. I mean, they have like the salacious titles or whatever to get clicks. It was called Hip Hop, Why Hip Hop Doesn't Respect Corday. But
okay.
There's similar videos like that, even for J. Cole. And I think there's basically two sides of the spectrum. On the, let's say the left, you have the super like corny, preachy backpack rapping on the right, like the evil, like gang banging rap. And then somewhere in the middle, and I think someone like like Kanye or like J. Cole even are much closer to the middle. Not that they're gangsters or street, but they're not so preachy or corny that like either side can't fuck with them. And I think hip hop sees Corday towards the cornier, preachy side and doesn't really see like a story to attach themselves to. It's like he's just like a rapper and that's it. Like there's nothing else beyond that.
He's like a TED talk of raps. Like like everything's like, it has to be like an inspirational story.
And there wasn't, I think his last album was kind of just like a celebration of him being respected in hip hop, like more than before. There wasn't much.
Well, it's also like, not to like say this, it's in every situation because people's like you know, like we really like Travis Scott took off on his third album, right? But for the most part, like people's debut albums ends up being their best. Because like, dude, you had your entire life for this one fucking body of work. So I think it was a lot of that, why that album did so well.
Yeah. And I mean, also people just kind of gravitate towards the more shocking shit that they don't really understand, or not they don't understand, but like the lifestyle that you've never lived seems to be more intriguing than just someone say, hey, follow your dreams or whatever. You want to hear about this dude fucking pulling up on 10 people and killing all of them and selling kilos and all that shit.
Yeah. You're right, dude. Yeah, it's just so funny the conundrum that is being a hip hop fan, bro. Like, and even like these like not even record labels. Yeah, dude, record labels, fucking like, you know, like these platforms, Spotify and Apple, like, and Tidal, I guess to a certain extent, like you have to like pick and choose when you want to be PC, and then you know, you can remove people because they got into an argument with their girlfriend on IG, but then you'll promote someone's album like crazy who's talking about like literally killing people on a day-to-day basis. It's like, bro, like what? Like, I don't know. Like, it's hard, bro. Like, it's really hard, man. And again, you want to just assume that they're taking the equivalent to art form, you know, the same way movies come out, they're just telling a story, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, fine. All right, dude. But like, I don't know. There's like something ingrained in hip hop. Like, all right, if you're saying something, it's meant to be truthful. You know what I mean? As opposed to like a movie, which is like, I think we walk into movies knowing, all right, the script, it's fine. It's fantasy. Whereas like when we hear Little Durk saying, I'm going to fucking smoke this dude, I'm like, all right, I kind of believe it. You know what I mean? Like,
so. Right. And that's why we're never surprised when like these dudes catch murder charges or get murdered themselves. And not that we wish it upon them. It's just like, I think we've reached a point where we do believe, you know, most of these guys, and a lot of these guys, I guess, do have a history to make it believable. And I think the sad thing is we encourage it just by listening it and helping it, you know, rank in the charts that way. But at the same time, the whole
thing with the women video we were talking about last week, the
right,
Justina and Megan Thee Stallion.
Yep. So like with that, but then I don't think it a lot of the times people blame the fans for feeling these beefs and stuff, or like even academics and whoever for reporting on it and stuff. But it's like, but you guys are rapping about it. So
yeah,
how, like a lot of times these beefs start because a rapper will do like a subliminal thing, and then the fans are like, oh, he's talking about XYZ. And then
he's like, mind your business. It's like, hey, you just put a whole song about it. Why don't you mind your business, bro? Like,
yeah. So I just think it's dumb. Like you can't expect to profit off of, you know, your personal street business and life, and then expect the public not to talk about it or speculate or spread rumors and shit. That's just backwards thinking.
Yeah, I agree, dude. But again, shout outs to him though, because again, I think he handled the whatever backlash or the retort that he had on academics pretty well. So again, I'm still gonna peep his music. He's 20 years old, so I mean, hopefully he has a long, prosperous career ahead of him.